stuttering can't be cured. The stuttering problem was more than a speech problem. So I decided to go to speech therapy. As I was tired of feeling like I could not say what I wanted, speech therapy only made the problem worse. I started stuttering more, so that's when I decided to find a new method. It made it clear to me that I stuttered only because I allowed myself to stutter. Hi, everyone. My name is Christian. I am 26 years old, and I am an orthopedic physician assistant in New York City. I have been a stutterer since I was about 7 or 8 years old. In a way, it became a part of me. It became who I was. Stuttering can't be cured was a phrase I heard at a young age. And because of that, I learned to live with it and accepted the fact that I would always stutter. I have been told that my stutter is mild. I suffered mostly from blocks at the beginning of sentences, which in a way is good, as sometimes people can't tell that I am having a block. They probably just look at me and assume that I have not started speaking yet. I find that people associate stuttering with repeats more than blocking. I do have some repeats here and there, but for the most part, blocking was my biggest problem. Even though my stutter is considered to be mild, to me, it was the biggest obstacle in my life. Whenever I had to speak to people, I felt tense, I felt nervous, and had anxiety about the thought of a possible stutter. The stuttering problem was more than a speech problem. It was a mental problem. In time, I became somewhat of an expert at hiding this issue. No one around me ever caught me stuttering, only my family. My family was supportive of me, and that is why I never cared for them to hear me stutter, as I was not embarrassed to trip over words with them. I knew that they loved me and would never judge me because of my speech. So, when I was around them, I took down that protective barrier I constantly wore and just stuttered away. When I was with other people, it was a whole different ballgame. I was always so careful with the words I chose when speaking to others, calculating the right moment, using the easiest words for me to say, and searching for the optimal way of saying words were all part of my daily regimen. This led me to appear shy to others, avoid social situations, or talk less if I found myself speaking with large groups of people. In college, I would read through every class's syllabi and check if the class required any kind of presentation. If I saw any sign of presentation, you better believe I was not going to enroll in that class. Managing my speech throughout school was doable for me. Things began to get more complicated after I graduated from college. After graduating, I worked as an emergency medical technician, or EMT, in preparation for physician assistant school. I was the first one to arrive in a medical emergency and had to effectively communicate with my team or with law enforcement. I had to interview patients and obtain histories and perform physical exams. I had to transport my patients to the hospital and give reports to the hospital staff. Although few people saw me stutter to the point that they would say I have a speech disability, it was draining for me to live like that. So I decided to go to speech therapy, as I was tired of feeling like I could not say what I wanted when I wanted. I had to maneuver through words, and I was sick of it. My speech felt forced, and I often couldn't get my point across to others. To my surprise, Speech therapy only made the problem worse. I started stuttering more, so that's when I decided to find a new method to stop my stuttering. Finding Coach Lee's book changed my life. The book alone helped me tremendously. I read the book cover to cover multiple times, out loud, every single day. In fact, I call it the speech Bible. The book not only focuses on stuttering, but also teaches you to become a better speaker overall. In the book, I learned not to be a perfectionist with my speech. No one is perfect, and the idea of speaking perfectly is simply flawed. We focus so much on our speech that we forget that no one actually cares, as they are too busy thinking about themselves. The book had a huge impact on my life because it made it clear to me that I stuttered only because I allowed myself to stutter. After all these years, I thought that stuttering did not have a cure. But now I see how wrong that statement was. As most of us know, the book talks about the 13 crutches. I wrote all 13 crutches on my phone and read them until I memorized them by number. My favorite crutches, 1, 4, and 8. Those are the best crutches to overcome a first feared word, in my opinion. I can drop the first word, insert a sound or alternate word, or use voice modulation or enthusiasm to attack the problem words. I use these crutches whenever I need to, and they work fantastically. These crutches are magnificent. They give us a way to avoid stuttering, and therefore, we no longer have to fear it. In addition to using the crutches, I implemented mind training every single day. I knew that becoming the boss of your own mind was the key to defeating stuttering. I used the affirmations in the book and still repeat most of them to this day. I try to say them twice a day, once when I wake up in the morning and once right before bed. I also try to flood my mind with positive thoughts and affirmations throughout the day whenever I have the time or whenever I feel anxious about something, like this talk. My favorite ones include every day, in every way, my speech grows better and better. I love to speak. I love to say my name, Christian. And today, I will make a happy day. Flipping that mental switch was absolutely necessary to stop stuttering, as I felt more in control of my mind, my speech, and in time of my life. As Coach Lee always says, evil cannot enter a mind already full. Reading aloud has also helped me in my speech journey. Reading aloud gives me the opportunity to hear my speech at its best. It allows me to speak with emotion and enthusiasm. It allows me to see what I am capable of sounding like. I read for at least 1 hour every day. I enjoy doing it so much that I wish I had more time to read. I also believe that what you read is essential. Reading books such as How to Win Friends and Influence People or The Power of Positive Thinking have all greatly influenced my attitude towards life. Another crucial component to cure stuttering is adopting a pressured speech plan. I have tried many different speech plans, and I think I finally found my favorite one. Speak short using extreme pronunciation, using stops, and smiling as I speak. Having a speech plan allows you to focus on something other than stuttering. Your brain won't allow you to think words or worry about stuttering if you are too busy thinking of your speech plan. That is why it is so important to have one. Whenever I don't use it, I run into trouble. But my speech is almost flawless when I use it. Talking to Coach Lee on a weekly basis cemented the fact that I could beat stuttering. He changed the way I approached my problem and guided me from the moment I met him. And I will always be grateful. I am always excited to speak with him as I learn something new from him every time. He has taught me that being the most extreme example of yourself is something everyone should strive to do. He insists that we should do our best at everything we do and be as loving as we can to everything and everyone. The positivity and wisdom that Coach Lee shares with me is contagious and makes me want to become a better person in all aspects of my life. So, Coach Lee, thank you for everything you have taught me. Okay, let's recap. Crutches, affirmations, a pressured speech plan that works for you is vital to your speech journey. These are the 3 things you must do to defeat stuttering. Applying these tactics will make it practically impossible to have a bad stuttering incident. If you stutter, you should know that you don't have to do it. Coach Lee's methods worked for me and for many others. Take advantage of everything WSSA has to offer. Watch other people's coaching videos as I did. Attend these weekly SAM meetings and always try to learn something new from other people. Create a mental picture of yourself succeeding and speaking smoothly without any trouble. Hold on to that picture and never let it fade. No matter how bad things get, never lose this picture. Failing is not an option. Every single one of us has the power to achieve what we tell ourselves we want to achieve. Do not create problems, create solutions. Choose to be happy and try to be more calm, loving, and confident. Even though I am confident in my speech and know that I can avoid most blocks, sometimes I still have fears of stuttering. I'm slowly working on that and working on loving to speak. I will put myself outside of my comfort zone and try to speak to as many people as I can until I can finally say, I love speaking to everyone I meet. I will leap at opportunities to speak in public, give lectures, and speak to large groups of people. As Norman Vincent Peale said, the author of the book, The Power of Positive Thinking, do the thing you fear, and the death of fear is certain. Practice confidence and faith in your fears, and insecurities will soon have no power over you. I will continue to do my affirmations, read aloud, and use my speech plan. I know I can speak like a king, and little by little, the fears will go away. I feel lucky to be part of this community and know that everyone here will achieve success. I want to close with the classic line that we all know and love. We have free choice to accept or reject thoughts. Nothing compels us to think anything except our own desires. Use your mental switch to dictate your thoughts. Believe that you can improve and you will.